Welcome to the Geeks 31 plus days of horror for Halloween. This is Lil.
This is Steve.
And this is Sean. Remember we used to record on Skype? This is different. Just let you know. Sorry.
All right. Well, so for those of you,
Sean joining us with his edibles.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, I'm not.
So, tonight we're reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's. And for those of you who have not been with us before, we will play for you our rating system.
Which has a rating system in place that we like to call 0 to 0. If whatever horror movie we're reviewing is terrifying only to the most infantile who get nightmares from PG-13 reboots, it gets a 0. If it's a gorgasm-inducing slaughter party that satiates your most devious and monstrous desires, it gets a hero.
A troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's stars PETA, Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, Elizabeth Lally, Matthew Lillard, and others. So, Steve, I've only played these games a little bit. Like, my kids are into it. I've played, like, snippets, because we had the VR version of it. So I was like, let me check this out. I don't know the lore, so, like, I don't know. And we were talking about having our kids join us for this review, but they just didn't want to do it because they know the insights, From what I've heard is not exactly like the game story, but similar. But I want to get your take. Well, I thought maybe you'd play them. So since you didn't play them, I'll start. I'll start with my review.
Oh, damn. So because I didn't play the games.
No, I didn't play the game either. I was throwing it to you because I thought you had the historical knowledge.
You piece of shit, Steve.
Since you don't.
Yeah, since you
bastard.
don't, fucking noob, fucking wait your turn.
Yeah, did you even know the YouTubers who were in this? Because I did.
I did
Matt
not.
Pat's in this. I love Matt Pat. That's why I was happy to see him. He's a really good YouTuber. He was the guy at the diner who was serving them at the diner.
No idea.
But he does great.
Paid by the word guy.
He does a fucking great YouTube show. So, but besides that, so my review of this, I'm putting it on a different scale because again, this is PG-13 entry level horror, right? So it's not going to be big on the gory death scenes or anything, but man, this got a fucked up story. I have to say, like, this is a fucking horrendous story. Like, not in a bad like gut
Freddy Krueger.
Like, yeah, it's basically, I mean, they basically stole Freddy Krueger and without burning him alive. I give it a hero. I was actually impressed with the movie. I thought the movie was done well. I thought, while it wasn't as suspenseful and scary, kids were all into it. They were all, scared at times. They knew the story. They knew the characters. They were filling me in on, Freddy's, and all the kids and how you put them in the machine and what the characters do and all this stuff. So, very interesting and great to see Matthew Lillard. Although, man, fuck, he looks old as shit.
He is.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, from growing up watching,
he was like 30 when he was in Scream. So
playing a high schooler. So I give it a hero. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'll give it to you, Steve.
I'm right there with you. I think it's a hero. I think actually there was some pretty gruesome parts in it. There was actually a couple of good kills, and they did a close up of some pretty gory stuff a few times. There's a little bit of blood here and there. I feel like PETA. His name's not
PETA. That's what I've been saying the whole fucking time. Is PETA.
Josh Hutcherson. What's his name? Mike. I feel like if they somehow made him like a vet or something, he seemed like that would be the reason he's because he
PTSD.
Yes, you know, and I get like they tried to weave it in, you know, to like, and I get you being like obsessed with finding your brother's kidnapper, that whole story, but it felt like a little much for him to be that old for that long, for that much time, and for him to still be like, I can't sleep, and I'm just grizzled. Like if they somehow managed to weave in that he was like also suffering PTSD from war, then everything would make so much more sense. That being said, with my shortcomings with his character, like there's some other characters that don't make a lot of sense, right? So like the whole character of Vanessa was like unnecessary and just exposition, and just the way she pops in and out was weird. And I know that they explain everything, and we'll get to that in spoilers, but I wasn't a big fan of her throughout the movie. It was fun seeing what was her name? Mary
Stuart Masterson.
Mary Stuart Masterson in there.
I had a crush on her in the 80s, man.
Fried green tomatoes, man. You know?
I thought she was dope as shit, man. Now here I was like, oh, why are they gonna do Mary Stuart Masterson like this? Like I ain't like her role.
But I like some of the humor. I thought the animatronics looked great. I thought that the big puppets, and really at the end of the day, what do you want to see? Do you want to see those big fucking puppets moving around? And for what they were, they looked really good. I thought all the stuff involved with them was cool. I like that little cupcake running around, you know, felt like something out of Mario Brothers if it was evil.
Yo, that cupcake was fucking awesome. I actually want one.
Yeah, right? You want one to just
horror shelf, just the fucking cupcake. Because
yeah.
I was like, this thing is fucking awesome.
It was good. And you know, it had a cool ending. I like what they did with the yellow rabbit. You know, I thought that was all pretty sweet. So for me, again, a little grading on an entry level horror scale, because this is one that my daughters went to the movie theater and saw. This is one that I watched with my son here on the couch, and everyone loved it. So, you know, for that, it gets a hero. And these are the kids that love the games and they love the movie. So hero for me.
I think it had a pander, and not pander in a bad way, but it had to live up to the game hype, right? Because the game franchise is very popular. I mean, and there's kids' school books and shit, like novels for kids, like that group. So like it just makes sense.
Well, and at the end of the day, like I have gripes, but I like the movie, so you know, it was good. Sean,
I give it a hero. It was good. I liked it. I did not enjoy it. It was a good story. The story was really good. It was consistent. Stayed kind of consistent all the way through. There were some gripes that probably me and Steve probably had gripes about, but overall, like again, I agree. He should have had like PTSD from war. If it would have been cooler if he actually did, and he actually knew some shit to kind of kill them. But him getting like, oh yeah, you should do this, you should do that. I was like,
yeah, but
even how opportunity for like him to kind of be a veteran of war to kind of take out these fucking robot monster things, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like they're not. We'll get into it in the spoilers because I see what you guys are saying, but I think I have a counter argument for it.
No, I mean what? Because they're kids.
Well, yeah, and it's not like they were not monsters because they're bad.
Spoilers,
right? Like they're not. Yeah. So okay, let's get into spoilers.
Let's.
I'm leaving that in there.
What?
Especially how you're sitting back, you're like, yes.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
So I don't know if we're gonna go. I mean, it's a very new movie, so I don't want to go through like scene for scene or anything. But I want to kind of talk some about the concept here. And we're talking about PETA, Josh Hutcherson's PTSD. And I get what you guys are saying, like, you know, if he was a war vet, but we've seen that kind of PTSD, right?
Right.
We don't know the kind of trauma that it goes, especially at that point of your life, at that age, witnessing your brother being kidnapped.
I guess
I think that could be really. I get what you're saying because, like, you're right. He's carrying around this book. It's like, you know,
it's the way he tackled that dude, and yes, like that was overkill. That felt like, and it felt like security, a job of authority, because he got dishonorable discharge or something, you know, like there needed to be something more. Like you're just told that he can't sleep and he's angry.
But in that same thing, in that same light, he's fucking chasing demons, man.
He is, and that's what I'm saying. He's seeing a kid that's being dragged away by an adult, and in his head, he goes right back to that moment in time where his brother that he was supposed to take care of, but decided to go after the fucking frisbee. So he's carrying all this guilt for whatever 15 years of his life at this point, right? 20 years. I don't even know it. That's the one thing.
This movie took place. This was in the 90s. Everyone had fucking shitty Nokia phones, and they were still looking at DVD VCR players. You know, like this was 90s.
I was having a hard time with the timeline because of, and you're right, because a lot of things looked.
Because the kids were disappeared in the 80s, and Matthew Lillard. It's only been like 11 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and I agree. I guess that was my problem. Like, it was a little timeline-ish issues. Because it felt like this whole, like, him not having the knowledge of Freddy's seemed to be out of context, right? And then also, like, him talking about the death of his parents, or, like, I don't even understand what really happened to his parents.
We said his mom died and his dad just left.
And, like, that's what, but, like, when and where, and, like, when was his sister born?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
understand. You know, like, that's where I was
because there was no baby in the camping thing. So
was that?
So that's what that's what he's saying. So I think there was like another mom.
I think so.
And then something like they just left because like the aunt is not his aunt,
right?
It's the sister's aunt. So like that's what I'm saying. Like there was like a I don't want to, again. I'm not gonna it's.
All this is the background shit that for me is like whatever. I can get hung up on all the little details here and there. All I was saying was like if they would have had some sort of soldier-ish backstory. Now I'm not complaining that they didn't. I'm just saying if they did, it would have given a little bit more of an explanation to his violent tendencies and probably would have lent to a better showdown because ultimately at the end there's not much of one. And I know that why there wasn't, but it still would have been cool if there was one. With them being controlled, and having to be beaten.
But I think it's tough, right? It's a tough balance because if you go to a war vet and then you bring in the backstory of him losing his brother, I think it just fits in the line of the story because you're talking about kids who were kidnapped and taken and murdered
by the same guy.
Having that same person. So it's like you got to tie that in, right?
Then maybe maybe not war vet. Maybe then he was a troubled kid and he spent a lot of time in jail or something.
Yeah, he was
something like that would explain his. So maybe the war vet is what I said like off the top of my head, but maybe that would have been a better way to go around. So just something where violence is in your past, so that it explains because you could be as obsessive as you want about a case, even if your family's involved, but it's not going to make you fucking go attack people. And I get he thought that guy was kidnapping the boy, so it triggered something in him. I get that. I'm just saying that's still a wild fucking jump.
Yeah, he took off and lost it. I'm not gonna. I guess it didn't bother me once you figured everything out.
Well, it didn't bother me enough not to like the movie. It was just something to gripe about. Yeah. That's all. And I can gripe all day about Vanessa and just popping in and just offering fucking all the answers all the time. And then making random character flips where she's like, no, I'm not going to help you. Now I'm going to help you. I'm not going to help you. Now I'm going to help you. Stay out of here and don't do this. Make sure you lock the doors. Like you were right there when he locked the fucking doors. You were talking to him while he did it. Like,
well, right. That's what I even said that when we were watching it. I was like, wasn't she there when he fucking closed up for the day and then she finds his pills? Like I don't understand why she kind of flipped on him for a second there.
And then she threw him in the fucking and then she threw him in the water. I was like, what the hell? Well, and then she's like hanging out, like building forts. I'm like, listen, don't you have you're on duty?
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm guessing her shift is just that area that's run down of the city.
Awfully convenient. Awfully convenient how that worked out. I get she's supposed to be a plant. Blah 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 blah. It's all explained away, but it's like every time she pops in, I'm just like,
I didn't like that I didn't like that story. I liked her as she was before the storyline.
The dad, yeah, before she became, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I thought it would have been cool if she was like
trauma,
a.
right?
I thought it would have been cool if she was like a survur, right? Like somebody that the
Right,
yellow rabbit tried to get but got away, and then
Agreed.
that thrust her into a life of law enforcement where she felt like she had power, and because she didn't want to feel powerless again, and then she chose that route because she wanted to drive by there every night and make sure nobody was getting hurt.
But what's more powerless than knowing your dad was a fucking child killer and kidnapper and not being able to do anything about it, right?
But she absolutely could do something about it. She literally became a police officer. She could have said something and arrested him and sent him to prison for his crimes.
But again,
she should be in jail also. Just to let you know, she is an accomplice.
She is an accomplice. 150% accomplice.
I get it. I agree. But what I'm saying
is, he's a bad person.
This all goes back to childhood trauma, right? Like, we don't know. And he even, again, it's a line that was dropped. It was a very quick line. Like,
she was not a sheltered woman that was being over controlled by her dad. She was a fully functioning member of society with her own motivations and a job in law enforcement. She should have made the right call.
Agreed.
Again,
she did not.
We understand. Well, for what the story is telling me, and
it's entry level horror. I don't. It's
but you also see it happen in society, right? People get fucked up by their parents, and parents who are really, really bad. We don't know what kind of fucking torture this man put her through, and sometimes because even her reaction to he's looking for you, I can't be around there because I can't face him. Tells you that there was some fucking dark shit happening through her childhood. That yes, she became a police officer, she's doing all this stuff, but guess what? She's also still being manipulated by him. And there's people out there that still.
Well, I guess he does have. He has some sort of power, right? Like he has power over the ghost kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
that's weird. I didn't understand that.
I want to know how the ghost kids came to be. I wish I would.
Yeah, they didn't even give us that. Like
Freddy Krueger shit. They showed that he killed them all with a knife. They showed that in drawings.
In drawings, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even fucking understand those drawings. I just kind of figured that they were just drawings. Like I didn't even think.
Well, the ghost kids loved the drawings that the little girl was doing, and she drew.
I thought he
put them in
the machines, and they just fucking got killed in the machines. That's what I thought, and then their fucking souls just stayed in there, but that wasn't the case.
Well, he put them in there after he killed them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did,
and that's what. Yeah,
that's where he hid the bodies was in the animatronics.
Because they were talking about that because the cops kept coming back looking for kids because they all went missing and they couldn't find them anywhere because they were hidden inside the animatronics.
Stinky.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's bad. That's being a bad fucking cop. Like, terrible police department.
This is the 80s cops, man. We saw the cops in Totally Killer, remember? When
there were no first of all, there were no cops in this motherfucker at all.
Like, except for Vanessa, and she sucks at her job.
She sucks. She had no partner. Like, you would think they didn't give her a partner. Or you would think that, hey, these people are missing. Where the fuck are they at? Only one person's going fucking, like, it's crazy. I was like, this is weird.
But yeah, I love the scene where the break-in scene.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We get a scene of fodder, right? We knew. I was trying to figure out.
Had to happen, finally.
I was like, you're not killing PETA.
Yeah, but they did. I mean, it had a good opening with that almost saw device where the security guard was getting killed by the face with all the blades spinning. Like, that was cool.
And my kids loved it because that's what happens in the game. Like, right, they put you in the animatronics. Like, they put kids in the animatronics to join them. Like, that's the focus of the game. And I'm like, that's fucking dark. How is this a kid's game?
Because there's no blood. It's just jump scare.
Right, I get it, but if the story behind it is murdering of children and putting them in fucking Chuck E. Cheese suits.
It's relatable. Kids. Anything that involves kids, stories with kids, Lord of the Flies, these are big stories for me when I was a kid.
Nightmare on Elm Street. We're talking about Freddy Krueger. Murdering children before he got set on fire. So I did enjoy the scene of the fodder, which is weird, so weird. Like the sister has this aunt who is a fucking bitch, and only wants to adopt her to get the government check every month.
Mary Stuart Masterson, get it right.
Yes, I know it was Mary Stuart Masterson. I'm just saying, like,
Tawanda.
it's it was very weird
Deep
because
cuts.
she's got this attorney with her. They're talking about murdering and robbing, and I'm like, and even that attorney's face was so like cartoonish, you know? It's like, I shouldn't be here right now. And she's like, sit up.
Well, there's just so much talking, you know. You got to have cartoonish characters to keep the kids entertained because there's a lot of setup because you have to explain this shit, otherwise none of it makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. And then that's where we get Matt Pat's cameo, which again, I'll say it again.
But this group, you know, that goes in here and breaks in, like they're close to the family, but like I loved the little fucking cupcake like lashed onto that one guy's face, and like you see it, but like it just looks like a big cartoony thing attached to somebody's face. But like later, when you get a close up on that guy's face, it is ripped to shit. Yeah. You know, and it's like, ooh, damn, that was pretty gory for a kid's movie, but okay, you know, pretty cool. And then the girl gets bitten in half. She gets completely bitten in half.
Yes.
I
half her body on the floor. Sebastian went, how is this for kids?
That's funny.
Oh man, Sebastian and Alex are at two different age points. Alex is like, oh man, why did I see that in shadow? I wanted to see it. I'm like, all right, we've made it to the next level. But yeah, so that, I mean, those again, good scenes, you know. And you have the one, I don't know what their characters' names are. The one with the hook, Foxy with the hook. When you see him like at in the hallway when he's coming at the guy, and he's like, it's very quick shots, and like he's just right there. I was like, oh, that's really,
right at the screen
really cool.
with the teeth. Like it's good stuff, man. I like that stuff, and that's classic horror stuff. You're giving the kids something new, something they're used to with the subject matter, but then showing them some of the classic horror tropes. It's a good way to get them in. Yeah,
and then we get the PETA, having his dreams. He's dreaming of the kids. I'm gonna call him PETA. It's PETA. And
it's Freddy Krueger shit. He's getting sliced up by the kids in his dreams, and he's waking up and he's all sliced up. I'm telling you, and there's a child killer. I'm telling you, bro, it's Freddy fucking Krueger.
Well, it's called also Five Nights at Freddy's. So at first, I remember the first time Alex was talking about this, like 5-6 years ago. I was like, what is this shit? Is this a ripoff of Freddy Krueger? What is going on here? Like,
I don't really. In reality, it is.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, no, shit.
In a different way. And in this movie, the main villain has an Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
an Iron Man rabbit suit.
But this happens in the game to him.
Oh, really? Yeah. Sebastian explained all of that to me. We paused it at one point, and he told me all of the lore, and even named William, whatever his last name was. He was like, and this guy was really Springtrap, and this is going to happen. And he's like, and I saw a behind the scenes photo that the director posted on Twitter. He showed that they made a Springtrap suit, so I know he's going to be in the movie. He'll just have to see. Like, he was all about it.
I like that he watched on Twitter. I'm trying to pull up.
Oh no, he didn't see it on Twitter. He saw a YouTube video where they.
YouTube video. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sebastian does not have access to Twitter.
I'm glad. Did you know that Jim Henson's Creature Shop made these the animatronics?
Oh,
they look really good, man.
They did. They looked really good.
I liked it. Like their eyebrows would shift and change the way they looked. I like their squinty eyes that would turn red. They could go from looking. There was one scene where like Freddy goes to like meet the little girl at her house and looks completely fucked up and different. And then they get back to the place and he's not like that. So I was like confused about that. Also, there were 5 dead kids, but only 4 animatronics.
No,
so
the cupcake.
Yeah, but he said they put the bodies in the fucking animatronics. You ain't putting a body in that cupcake.
Maybe it was a smaller body. Maybe
You saw the kids. It wasn't.
Maybe he ended up lighting one on fire. I don't know. We don't know how the kids got. Remember, we talked about we don't know how the kids got into there.
True.
So I mean, there could have been a spare because like that's the other thing too is like I think some of the lore of the game is like they're trying to get more, and you see when they flash back to the dead bodies, they put them in other suits, and the suit, the animatronic that they wanted to put the girl in, that was the creepiest fucking doll puppet thing.
That shit was creepy as a motherfucker, didn't it?
Even the kids were like, "Why would you want to play with that?" It's like, that's terrifying. But what I didn't like was, as you said, the exposition dump that the daughter had the whole time. Like I knew she was bad. Like the minute she pulled up, and the first thing you're like, not the bad, but I knew she like knew everything. She's like, she's gonna be. I thought
her exposition dump in the locker room was like, good. Like, just tell me everything.
But again, remember, this is, even though it's PG-13, this is telling the story to 8-year-olds. So you need those.
I know, and that's why I had to grade it on a different scale. This is not sophisticated horror. This isn't Hereditary. This is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get the best writing. You're going to get writing for kids, right? And
what point were you going to make, Sean?
No. What? Like, I'm confused by the supernatural element of it. Like, how did this happen? Like, is this place on this is like a fucking like a fucking ancient burial ground or some shit?
No, this is a world where ghosts exist. Like,
I guess so. It's
weird.
And
the kid and the girl, the sister, wasn't even fucking phased by it. Remember when they were eating dinner after it?
No.
And he's like, well, and she's like, well, they're ghosts. And he's like, okay.
yeah. I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? How did this fucking killer get this power? And where did he get this power from to fucking control fucking dead kids?
He went to the same school that fucking Charles Lee Ray went to.
Or the fucking puppet master. It's like all that shit, right?
But at least we knew what he did. Like, he did fucking voodoo.
Right, they did fucking voodoo. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I get it.
He motherfucker do nothing. Like, he did nothing at all. He just
you know why? Because we're gonna get an origin movie at some point. Five Nights at Freddy's.
You want to know why? And you want to know why we're gonna get that? Because this movie had a $20 million budget and it's already made $130 million.
And the fact that it made $130 million and still streamed on Peacock on the same fucking day is crazy. Because it already made its money.
My daughters that went and saw it at the theater, packed.
Packed. And that's the thing. And how many streams on Peacock did it get? Right.
At least one for
Peacock, me. And Peacock already basically paid for the budget. Like NBC already paid for the budget for Universal to have it streaming. So it's all fucking just bank for Blumhouse.
Damn.
It's Blumhouse's biggest opening ever.
Really?
And it's only Saturday.
I can see that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, but like it hit the right.
I just don't want to. Yeah, but I'm afraid of what this is going to do now. I don't want a bunch of fucking PG-13 horror movies for kids, and that's all we get.
That's what you're going to get.
Because
we're not. You're not. Because what this is going to do is they're going to make one of these, and then they're going to make something else on a small budget again.
Well, I hope they
make money. They're going to try to capitalize off of this.
Oh, they're going to definitely try to capitalize on. But I hope that this lets them. I hope that this leads them into the thought process that like, hey, like not only this, but like The Nun 2 made a fucking pretty penny too. Like horror is real. Horror is back. No, people will go. People will go see it. Yeah, but they haven't been making. I don't know. I say that, but then I'm like, there's been a lot of fucking horror movies coming out.
There's a lot of fucking horror
movies have been fucking from the first cinematic movie, right? Like it's always horror. Horror is
but they haven't always made the big bucks at the theater. They have low budgets for a reason because they don't make a ton of money. But now I think they're starting to make a ton of money because it's a reason to go to the theater, to be scared. You're not going there to see just another superhero movie or another animated film. You're going there to be scared. It's an experience.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. The theater has become that more big experience rather than just.
Yeah, the theater itself is terrifying. You never know
way
what
to
you're
go
going to
to
get when
way
you
to
go
go to
there.
the movies, right? People are
It's
screaming.
terrifying on your
Yeah.
budget. It's terrifying. The fucking,
That is true.
What other patrons go in there? These fucking blanket people, you know.
Blanket people. So basically, we get at the end of it, we find out that they're the yellow bunny that was kidnapping these kids was Stu Macher, and he was in a exoskeleton suit himself. He had the suit that was all fucking, and I initially was like, is that another ghost? And then I'm like, no, because you could see his neck. And I'm like, so they put Stu in the suit. All right.
Has to be him because there's nobody else in the movie. So
Well, I thought maybe he was controlling it robotically. I mean, like all this shit.
no, but once you see the skin, you're like, you can see it very clearly.
Yeah.
And so there's only one other person in the movie.
Agreed.
It's not the lawyer. That guy's like Danny DeVito.
That's the only other guy that's survived. And then they have their fight. They have their battle. His daughter steps up. She gets
not much of a fight. Stu beats the shit out of PETA for a while, then stabs his daughter with a kill shot with a giant butcher knife in the belly, and then the animatronics beat him up.
Yeah.
PETA doesn't do anything. PETA's there as a punching bag to distract him and let him fucking monologue for a little bit.
But to me, that's how it should have ended. Because like I know you guys were talking about like, oh, he could take everybody out, and I'm like, well, no, we don't. You don't want him to take out the robots because they're the souls of children. They don't know what's happened to them. They've been manipulated.
It seems like they know what's happened to them.
I don't know, man.
No, they did. Remember, that's why his sister had to put the actual pictures up on the wall to remind them what actually happened to them. They don't know.
That's true.
They're like
they had the pictures of them with the bat rabbit also.
Right. Yeah. And they had nice pictures, right? Like all those were nice. And then she started putting the pictures up of really what happened. And then that's why they turned and turned on him. And I'm like,
I thought that was cool watching the suit kind of like go into his fucking ribs and shit like that. Was pretty crazy.
And I guess like he's
somehow Vanessa lived through that because when they found her, the knife was laying on the floor next to her. I'm like, damn, so she pulled that thing out too. Like she's leaked out.
That's what I was thinking too. She's dead.
Well, that's why. I mean, she's almost. I mean, she's in a coma. She's been out for 2.
But that was later. That was even weird though. Like that. I would just assume that hey, we're not getting a part 2. Why just kill her off? Why not just?
Yeah, we are getting a.
There's definitely a part 2.
Yeah, I know there is, but it's just like leave her.
There's like 5
part 2, part 3, part 4. We're gonna get all the different variants. There's all sorts of different versions of these characters. There's different characters. There's a crocodile. There's all this other shit that's coming out.
Yeah, I know nothing about this game, so I didn't assume that. I just assumed
So here's the question: this or Willy's Wonderland? I'm going Willy's Wonderland.
I'm going Willy's Wonderland all day.
Yeah, but that's my demo. But that's aimed at us. That's not aimed at the 8-year-olds.
But it was still a Five Nights at Freddy thing. Like that was a straight knockoff.
Oh, yeah,
true, but there's something about that nostalgia kick, right? Like, I don't think that the kids that liked Five Nights at Freddy's are gonna get the same. Well, I mean, they might. It's the same, like it's the same subject matter. I guess.
Alex and they all liked it. They all liked Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, you showed it to them.
It wasn't. There was no sexy time, so I was like, all right.
There certainly wasn't there?
I edited that part out, but yes.
Well, don't say that there wasn't.
In the ball pit thing, yes, there was that one bit. That, when I knew that was coming, skip, and we were good to go. So.
Well, I mean, and then it ends, somehow Matthew Lillard is kind of alive. I know Sebastian said that in the games he becomes like the main antagonist.
Yeah, he's still
stays in that suit.
Mm-hmm. He's locked in now. He can't get out of the suit. The suit is in him, which is weird too because it's like, again, we're 2 weeks later and they show Matthew Lillard like still alive in that suit, and I'm like, but you were locked in this thing. You haven't eaten in 2 weeks. That thing went into you, so you're bleeding out. Like, how are you alive?
supernatural. How are the fucking ghost kids in the fucking suit?
How are they controlling the robots?
Yeah. How did he have a fucking suit that was like superhuman strength suit? It was like fucking Iron Man suit. He was throwing Peter all around that place with the power of 10 men.
Yeah. Hey, but Sean, you're right. I want, if they're going to continue with this, we do need an origin story. We do need to figure out, like, was he doing some kind of fucking seance to put these?
Yeah, like I gotta know something. Like,
but see, but they're gonna want to. Matthew Lillard is gonna be game for that. He got a big old fat fucking paycheck for doing hardly anything on this fucking movie, and for the most part, all he's gonna have to do is voice work, besides any flashback shots, and he could just fucking go crazy with the voice acting on an animatronic monster. Like I think we're gonna get something cool out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Five Nights at Freddy's. Check it out. I think we spoiled a lot of it, but it's still fun. It's Peacock. You can go watch it for free.
You think we spoiled a lot of it?
We spoiled everything.
There's nothing left.
There's stuff.
The little girl lived, and so did PETA.
And they all lived
Mary
happily.
Stuart Masterson was not in their apartment when they got back.
Yeah, that was.
Or no, their house, which somehow they can afford without a job.
Well, but it looked pretty run down. But and he gets a government check. Remember,
their house is a murder scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
And you saw the foreclosure.
Oh my God, you're right. That's why the aunt wasn't there in the fucking house.
She was murdered.
She got killed in their living room.
Yeah, that's a murder scene. Like, what?
There's a lot of murder that happened.
Wait. Who killed this lady? Like, is anyone going to question this part? Like.
I don't know. Maybe the guy who she was trying to get custody of his sister from.
Yeah.
With a history of violence. Wait, didn't he get fired from his last job after assaulting someone in a fountain?
Yeah, this is.
This is not looking good for PETA. This is a fever dream. PETA's in prison.
Yeah. Yeah. He's on death row. He killed a lot of people.
Five Nights at Freddy Part 2 is just PETA death row.
All of this has got to get pinned on someone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's nobody else in the movie. So,
right, because Matthew Lillard's gone.
Mike is going to jail for all time.
Yeah.
Damn. Too bad, PETA. So, all right. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for listening. This is Lil.
This is Sean.
And this is Steven. Until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy. You look like a fucking Bond villain.
Fucking back hurts.
You need a fucking pet. Go get fucking Chewy.
Chewy, have him sit on your lap.
Yes. No, my back hurts, man. I'm trying to fucking like move my back and shit. Sorry.
Well, I know because you're carrying that fucking hammer around.
Oh man, look, you nuts.
That's going at the end credits. I'm putting that.
Crazy. God, Jesus Christ. I can't with y'all, man. Oh man, y'all are silly.
I don't know what happens fucking today. I'm talking about fucking turning tricks and
Yeah. I expect
when you go back and watch the video of you standing up with your hand how it comes into frame, I was just watching. I was like, oh, what the
fuck? I'm gonna be a fucking vampire now.
Oh man,
I was like, damn, all just up in the camera like that. Like, how?
All right, here we go.
I want to be like that guy. Stupid.
Carrying that hammer around. My back hurts.